Alright, so this is a video with a brief explanation of how to create parallel B-splines for a wall. Question submitted by William Van Gundy on Facebook. So we're going to create a body, create a sketch, and just pick a plane. In this case, you're trying to make a piece of ductwork, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. So I'm going to choose the spline tool. I'm going to make a 3-section spline right here. So 1, 2, 3, and click out of it. Now I'm going to make sure that my spline tools are visible. Here we go. I've got this selected, and I want to make sure that my B-spline control polygon is visible. If I hide it, that happens. If I show it, you see this lines come back. Now first, with splines, interesting. If you want, we're going to actually introduce a line here, right, to add on to that spline, and that didn't like that. So I'm going to undo whatever I just did. Undo, and it'll get rid of the constraint. So that looks like it's attached here. Right, so if you wanted, say, this spline to be tangent with this line, you would simply click this first control knot, click your line, and use your point on line constraint, or O. So now that spline will remain tangent to that, see? But for the purposes of this, we're going to delete that line and just make these two here vertical, and this one and this one vertical. And what that'll do is that will make sure that my splines, the ends of my spline, are tangent to vertical, both of them. All right. So a couple of tricks you can do here. I'm going to create another spline. This will work kinda in most cases, but I'm basically going to create the same spline again. Okay, and then I'm just going to switch over to construction mode and create lines between my splines. Didn't like that, undo it. And then I'll probably end up with a spline that's not connected, but well, coincident that's fine. Go back to my line. And then one here. I'm actually going to do this because it doesn't like horizontal constraint. And C. Great, now I'm just going to make these all equal. And then we're going to make them all horizontal. Shit. This one, and this one. Horizontal. Horizontal, please. Okay, great. So, basically, give this a length. In this case, I'm going to give it 0.25, right? And you'll have two lines that are pretty parallel. See, if I move them around, end up with this. You'll also, they're not perfectly parallel. You'll see you get some thinning in here. So, I don't really recommend this method for anything that you have weird curves for. Oh yeah, I gotta close that, don't I? So we're going to just convert two of these lines to normal geometry. Close. And then do what you will with it. You'll have a wall. See? Okay. And then these faces are planes because you basically sketch them to be. So I can sketch on that face there, and say I wanted a square flange, I can do that. I'm going to import this, create myself a circle. And for whatever reason that didn't fully constrain, I'm just going to do the same thing again. Okay, so equal, great, and then if I wanted a square flange, I would use this, a polygon, square, horizontal, length, 7 inches. Okay, close, and then I could pad that. And I would end up with, you know, a flange or base or whatever there. Say OK. Great. So let's get rid of the pad, backspace, get rid of the sketch, and get rid of the revolution. Delete. Get rid of the sketch. Why not? Delete that. Another trick is to use the thickness tool. In this case, I would simply create a closed solid, give me my spline here. Again, I'm going to use a 3-section spline. And again, if I make these vertical, the end of the spline will be tangent to vertical. Okay. Now a polyline. Zoom in, 1, 2, 3, 4. FreeCAD can be a little sketchy, with constraints, conflicting constraints. It should avoid them naturally, but sometimes it doesn't. So we'll make this a closed shape, close this up, revolve it, say OK, and then you want to go through with a thickness. You would just select both of these faces, make a thickness, and you'll get an object with a parallel spline wall. Call that OK, and because your ends were tangent to vertical, this should be a plane. I should be able to sketch on it. See, I can. So again, do this, and then square base. I can do that too. Horizontal. Take my inner wall here, equal, close, and again I can pad to make myself a flange. Okay, so yeah, that's how you do that. Hope that was helpful, and have a good night.